The National Archives is based at 24 Hamilton Street in Pretoria. We have also provincial archives, which are actually independent from the National Archives. They have their own legislative framework. However, we support and work together and set standards as the National Archives, which are then implemented by the provincial archives. South Africa hosted the 27th ESARBICA Biennial Conference. Esabica stands for East and Southern Africa Regional Branch for the International Archives, which is a regional body that affiliates to the international body, which is called the International Council on Archives. Now, Esabica was established in the 1950s. Its aim is to promote and provide a platform where professionals, your archivists, your records managers, your records officers, to actually share information and exchange information and expertise on issues related to the administration, the preservation of archives and records management. It is a body that is has about 20 countries that affiliate to it, from east of Africa up to the southern part of Africa. This body includes academics, it includes practitioners, it includes national archivists, people or practitioners that are actually interested in the preservation and promotion of archives and records managers. In 2022, South Africa was approached by ESARBICA. So when we were approached by ESABICA, then we grabbed the opportunity with both hands and approached our department to actually request for us to host the conference. Approval was then given, and then we started the arrangements, the logistics of ensuring that we organize the conference, we put together a call for papers, and then we review all the abstracts that were actually received. There were about 73 abstracts that were received to show the importance of how this conference is often well attended. But at the end, we had to select and identify about 48 that form part of the program. The conference has taken place from the 14th up until the 18th of August in South Africa at Biennial Hotel in Gauteng. It was attended by approximately 550 delegates from the eastern part of Africa as well as the southern part of Africa. What mostly was interesting is actually the program that was actually implemented, where we had our Deputy Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Ms. Nolcawe Mafu, who actually opened the conference, who gave a keynote address. We had a guest speaker, our retired Judge Albie Sachs, who is a very known a human rights lawyer, who actually graced the occasion and gave a very interesting talk on the history of this country, and appealed to the archivists and records managers to ensure that they carry the baton and look at new technologies in terms of preservation of archives, and ensuring that we bring our communities on board and ensure that we embrace everyone's history and we preserve it in our repositories in all member countries. We also had Vali Musa, Mr. Vali Musa, who is also a well-known politician who has been in the board of directors for the Constitution Hill Trust. He actually also was part of the program, and as part of the events for the opening, he actually handed over the copy of digitized records, which was a project that dealt with the digitization of records that led to democracy in South Africa. Those collections include the CODESA, the Multi-Party Negotiating Forum, the Independent Electoral Commission, as well as others which were actually digitized. And I must indicate that those records, specifically the CODESA, as well as the Multi-Party Negotiating Forum, are on the archives website. They're actually accessible to members of the public. So that is why it is important that our records are digitized and availed to anyone who would have interest, our researchers, our youth who are actually in the academia, who are actually studying, pursuing their studies to actually utilize these records for research purposes. The main theme of the conference, if I can start there, was archives, records, and memory in the digital space and global chaos. As you know, the technology is moving rapidly. We want to address issues related to the digitization of records, artificial intelligence, the use of robotics in the archival space. We had pre-conference workshop which started on Monday the 14th and ended on the 15th, basically looking at issues related to digital curation, issues of archives, digitization of archives, issues related to oral history. So those are some of the issues that we actually dealt with on day 1 and day 2 of the program. Speakers included a number of academics from the University of South Africa, Professor Sarombe to mention one, Professor Jacobs. They are all in the information science faculty, and we work very closely with the University of South Africa. They were also partners in implementing this program. We also had a program that dealt with audiovisual material, preservation of audiovisual material, which was a workshop that was given by Ms. Ngala. So there were a number of speakers for day 1 and day 2. Now the main program, which started on the 16th, program director who is our acting director general, Dr. Cynthia Kumalo, ran the program very smoothly and ensure that it becomes very interesting even to our young archivists. We've had very prominent speakers and presenters. Professor Ngulube is one of them, who is also a well-known professor in the information science faculty. The director of the cultural unit at UNISA, Professor Mpongwepe, who is also a very known scholar in archival studies in information science. We've had speakers from all over eastern part and southern part of Africa who are part of Esabica. So we have a huge task as archivists to popularize the work that we do, to invite our communities to utilize the records that we have, the space that we have, because some use records that we have to write books, to direct movies, to conduct research. So it's a facility that can actually be accessible to anyone. The last day also included an excursion to our partner institutions, which included the Constitution Hill, Freedom Park, as well as the National Archives. All of these are our heritage site that we are proud of as a country to have, because they keep historical information about this country. which should be shared with our future generations. So we wanted to showcase the work that we do as a country, the pride that we have in our institutions as well. This has been a very interesting program, and I think if it was not for the involvement of our partners, it wouldn't have been possible. Our Deputy Minister, Ms. Nokawe Mafu, is always supportive of the work that we do as the National Archives. We also want to thank Esabica for trusting us with hosting this conference, because if it was not for them, we would not have had an opportunity to actually share with a number of South African practitioners on regarding archives. Some of them do not normally get opportunities to actually attend these conferences when they're all hosted elsewhere. As indicated, there are biennial conferences that are hosted in different parts of the Eastern and Southern Africa. In 2025, Kenya will be hosting the conference.